If I asked you who the best pitcher in Major League Baseball is, I bet your answer would be Jacob DeGrom. DeGrom is almost universally recognized as baseball's best hurler due to his run prevention, high pitching velocity, and impressive strikeout rates. But he hasn't been the king of pitching for a very long time. In fact, his rise to superstardom began just 3 years ago. DeGrom came into the league in 2014 and was quite good early in his career, being named an All-Star in 2015. However, he took off in 2018, leading the league in ERA and winning his first Cy Young Award. What led to a sudden improvement that season? The answer may shock you, but he simply cut his hair. Professional athletes usually struggle when they first reach the professional level of their respective sports, but that wasn't the case for Jacob DeGrom. As a 26-year-old rookie in 2014, he pitched just over 140 innings and played like an above-average pitcher in the National League. He put up a whip of 1.14 and was pretty efficient, striking out 9.2 batters per 9 innings. His most impressive quality that season was arguably his run prevention, as he sported an ERA plus of 128. ERA plus is an advanced version of ERA that adjusts for the player's ballpark. 100 is average, and DeGrom's mark of 128 means his ERA was 28% better than the average pitcher. DeGrom had a very good rookie season, but he showed a lot of improvement in 2015. That season, he got his whip under 1, increased his ERA plus to 149, and increased his strikeout to walk ratio by just over 2 points. He simply didn't walk anyone, and was rewarded for his stellar play by being named an All-Star for the very first time. At this point, it looked like he was going to be a star for years to come. Unfortunately, his next 2 seasons were a bit underwhelming relative to his sophomore season. In 2016, there were a few reasons to be concerned about DeGrom's play. That season, he struck out batters less while walking them more. His OPS allowed skyrocketed, and he had a higher hard hit rate. This wasn't a terrible season for him, but it definitely could have been better. From 2016 to 2017, DeGrom had a whip of 1.194, an ERA plus of 123, and generated 7.6 WAR. WAR, or wins above replacement, is a one-number metric that attempts to measure the number of wins a player is worth over a replacement-level player. Here's the scale according to Baseball Reference. From 2016 to 2017, he averaged 3.8 WAR per season, meaning he had the impact of a starting pitcher rather than an all-star. Although these weren't bad seasons per se, they were definitely a low spot for him specifically. At the end of 2017, DeGrom made a change that would shift the trajectory of his career. On September 24th, he made the final start of the season, sporting his long, beautiful hair. Then, for whatever reason, he decided to cut it off. He had long hair for his entire professional baseball career up to this point, so it was odd to see him without his incredible flow. However, as his haircut changed, so did his play on the field. This was the moment he became a superstar. Entering the 2018 season, Jacob DeGrom decided that allowing runs was something he wasn't going to be a part of. He led the league in ERA plus with 218, which is the highest mark he's ever reached in his entire career. He also led the league in FIP. FIP stands for Fielding Independent Pitching and measures a pitcher's effectiveness at preventing home runs, walks, and hits by pitch while causing strikeouts. DeGrom had a FIP of 1.98, which is also the highest mark he's ever hit in a single season. His pitching ratios were very impressive in 2018, as he hit the 30% strikeout rate mark for the first time and allowed home runs on just 1.2% of plate appearances. He had an exceptional MVP case, as he led the league in ERA, had a whip under 1, and generated 9.9 WAR. DeGrom is one of only 8 pitchers in the history of baseball to have an ERA plus of 215, a whip of at most .915, and 9.5 WAR in a single season. Shout out to Walter Johnson for being absolutely disgusting on the mound. Unfortunately, he didn't win MVP, finishing 5th in voting, but he did win the Cy Young Award and was named an All-Star yet again. He had a great season the next year in 2019, winning his 2nd straight Cy Young Award and finishing 10th in MVP voting. But I want to move forward and focus on what he's done this season in 2021 because he's been unreal. Jacob DeGrom entered the 2021 season at the age of 33. In sports, it's common for players to digress and get worse as they enter their mid-30s, but DeGrom is an anomaly. He isn't putting up with Father Time shenanigans. He's breaking the game and doing it by hitting his peak 8 years into his career. DeGrom has played 8 games and 51 total innings so far this season. This is a small sample size, but I still want to look at his ridiculous production. Here are his standard pitching numbers from this season. Yes, I promise these are real. He has a 5.48 ERA+, a whip of .569, and he's striking out 14.5 batters per 9 innings. This is the best stretch any pitcher has had in the history of baseball. His pitching rates this year reached new heights as well, as he has a strikeout rate of 45.8% and a walk rate of 3.9%. If you're a batter going up against DeGrom, get ready to head to the bench because you're not getting on base. Here's the slash line he's allowed so far: 129, 162, and 246. His on-base percentage allowed is 162. That means opposing hitters are getting on base just 16.2% of the time when he pitches. That's insane. I think the most interesting development in DeGrom's skill set is his increasing pitching velocity. He reached the age of 30 in 2018, and at that time, he was throwing 96.3 miles per hour with his four-seam fastball. Fast forward 3 years later, and he's throwing 99 miles per hour on that same pitch. Every pitch in his arsenal has seen an increase in velocity over the last couple of years, and now he has a pitch repertoire that looks like this. His four-seam, changeup, and slider all have a velo of at least 91 miles per hour. The fact that his velocity is increasing despite approaching the age of 35 is incredible, and makes zero sense. Jacob DeGrom is simply built different. Jacob DeGrom has had an interesting and successful career so far. Despite coming into the league later than usual, he's become a top pitcher in the game, and it doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon. His rise to stardom was quick and came out of the blue, and it happened because he took a visit to his local barber and got a haircut. Thank you for watching, and please consider liking and subscribing.